talked to you about $1,000 in the bank account for savings. I've talked to you about paying off all non-mortgage debt. Once you've done that, I encourage you to get to the step number 3, which is getting 3 to 6 months of living expenses in an emergency fund. So before we get into it, let me talk about my philosophy on bank accounts. I'm a big believer in simplicity. I believe in credit unions for checking accounts. Credit unions are great. They are local. They typically do not charge big fees, and you can go to them when you need something kind of fast cash type situations. For savings accounts, these big Wells Fargo, Bank of America companies, and even your credit unions, they are usually not going to offer high interest rate on your savings. So I'd encourage you to check out online savings accounts. That's where my wife and I savings at. They're at Synchrony Bank. All right, so Synchrony Bank is great. I'd also check out Ally Bank, ALLY, and Marcus. That one's by Goldman Sachs. All right, so Synchrony Bank's pretty simple. I get about 2.15% on my savings, guaranteed. It's FDIC insured. Nothing's going to happen to it. I know people are leery of not having that physical branch to go to, but I encourage you, it's worth the savings. You simply just link it up to your checking account and send it over there. And how often do you need to really dip into savings once you've started to build that up? So really focus on what type of accounts that bank savings is in. The high yield savings accounts like that do have a limit to 6 transactions per statement cycle, so keep an eye out. All right, so back to the basics. 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in savings is the goal. That's going to vary from family to family. Let's say you've got a single income family. You've got a dad who's providing for wife and kids. He's got one job, single income. His savings account needs to be closer to the 6 months than the 3 months. That's because there is a lot more risk. His income stream is not diversified. It's just from one source, so we want to protect that family better. Let's say you've got a married couple who work multiple jobs. That's when you can bring that number closer to 3 months of living expenses. So that's the reason for the range 3 to 6 months. It really depends on your financial situation. So what is that exact number? Okay, so the key term for 3 to 6 months is living expenses. Think, if you lost your job, how much would you need for that time frame, 3 to 6 months, to cover the absolute essentials? This isn't talking about saving, this isn't talking about investing, it's the essentials. Groceries, mortgage, gas, whatever it takes. All right, so you've got to get in that situation where you've lost your job, you've got to get through until you can find another job. That's the idea behind the 3 to 6 months. All right, so we're moving up from 1,000 to 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Once you get to that point, it's a really exciting time. That's when you start to balance saving for retirement, if you've got kids, saving for college, paying off that mortgage. So that's a really fun part, but it takes a lot of thought and effort. All right, so keep an eye out as I go into those next principles, saving for retirement and whatnot, and let me know if you have any questions. Always welcome different ideas and topics you want me to cover. I'll see you for the next video.